Welcome. Today, we're going to flip the script on human resources. We're going to explore how HR has made this incredible journey from being seen as just a back office function, kind of buried in paperwork, to becoming an absolutely core strategic driver for any successful business. So let's dive right in. Okay, first things first, let's set the stage a little. For decades, the way people thought about HR has been, well, let's just say not very glamorous. It was often seen as the department that just handles the administrative nitty-gritty of having employees. I mean, let's be honest for a second. When you think of HR, is this what pops into your head? For a lot of us, the answer is probably yes. It's often viewed as this purely administrative function, focused on compliance and processing forms. But as you're about to see, that's the old way of thinking. That's not the world we live in anymore. This timeline really captures the huge shift that's happened. I mean, look back at the 80s and 90s. We called it personnel and administration, and it was 100% tactical. Then, right around the turn of the century, the name changed to human resources, which at least signaled that, hey, people are actually significant. And that brings us to today, where we have strategic HRM, and the entire goal is to directly align your people with your business strategy. So, we've seen how we got here, but what does this new strategic approach, what does it actually mean in the real world? Let's nail down a clear definition. The key word here, the one I really want you to focus on, is linking. SHRM is all about creating this explicit, undeniable connection between your people, how you hire them, how you train them, how you reward them, and the company's biggest, most important goals. It's about turning HR into a true strategic partner in the business's success. This comparison just lays it all out perfectly. You see, traditional HR was often like an isolated island, just dealing with its own internal stuff. But strategic HRM, it's the bridge. It connects the people function directly to the very heart of the business strategy. And maybe the most critical part of this whole thing is the mindset shift. You stop seeing people as a cost to be managed, and you start seeing them as a core asset to be developed. And this right here, this is the philosophical core of SHRM. Just think about it for a minute. Your machinery, your computers, your office buildings, they all lose value over time, right? They depreciate. But your people? When you invest in them, when you train them, when you nurture their capabilities, their value to the organization actually grows. They are literally the only asset that appreciates. Okay, so now we get what SHRM is, but let's dig into the why. Why is it so incredibly vital? What is it actually trying to achieve? And it really all boils down to 3 core objectives. Let's kick things off with this really foundational idea. The number one goal of being strategic with your people is, well, it's pretty simple. It's to win. It's about building an organization that can consistently outperform its rivals in the marketplace. So the first objective is all about performance. But here's the thing. That competitive advantage isn't guaranteed forever. Just look at Nokia. They absolutely dominated the mobile phone market. They were unstoppable. But they failed to build a culture of innovation that was needed to respond to the smartphone revolution. Their people's strategy just didn't keep up with where the market was going, and poof, their advantage completely vanished. And that brings us right to the second big objective. Because if a sustainable advantage doesn't come from a piece of technology that your competitor can just go out and buy, then where does it come from? Well, it comes from your people. You have to invest in the source of that advantage. The second core objective, then, is to build what we call strategic human capital. What that really means is creating a workforce with skills and a level of commitment that your competitors just can't copy. Anybody can buy the same factory or the same software, but they can't buy your unique team. It's exactly why companies like Google, Microsoft, and Toyota are leaders. They have relentlessly invested in their people. This is a question every single leader is asking themselves right now. I mean, the world feels more unpredictable than ever, right? And that sets up the third, and maybe the most modern, objective of strategic HRM. This third objective is all about building an organization that can thrive, no matter what gets thrown at it. I mean, nobody saw a global pandemic coming, but the companies that were already future-ready, the ones with agile, resilient teams, they were the ones that adapted the best. This is about building a workforce that is prepared for constant change, whether that change comes from new tech like AI or from huge global shifts. All right, so we know the what and the why of SHRM, but how do companies actually, do it? How do they make the strategy work in the real world? Let's get into the how. The key concept here is something called fit, and it works in 2 directions.
First, you need what's called vertical fit. This just means aligning your HR practices up to the main business goals. For example, if your company's strategy is all about innovation, you can't have a reward system that punishes people for taking risks and failing. It just doesn't fit. Second, you need horizontal fit. This means making sure all your HR practices, hiring, training, performance reviews, the whole shebang, are all in sync and reinforcing each other.
Let's look at a real-world example. Microsoft's business strategy is to be a leader in AI and cloud computing. It's that simple. So their HR strategy has to be in perfect alignment with that business strategy. That means their recruitment, their training, their development programs, everything must be focused on finding and growing people with skills in those exact areas. That is strategic fit in action.
So let's bring this all home. Why does this whole conversation about strategic HRM matter more today than it ever has before?
At the end of the day, it really boils down to this one simple, powerful truth. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, tech, manufacturing, services, anything. Your success ultimately depends on the people who show up every day to execute your vision.
So here it is, the key takeaway. People are the prime movers. They build the technology, they create the innovations, they serve the customers. In the complex world we live in today, having a strategic approach to managing your people isn't some nice-to-have extra. It's absolutely the most essential ingredient for survival and success. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Financial assets, cash, equipment, buildings, they're all listed right there on a company's balance sheet. But what about its human capital? Is the true value of your organization, the creativity, the commitment, the amazing capability of your people, is that actually being accounted for? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.